Hello, everybody, and welcome to a all-new episode of SP Nation After Dark. Today's episode is really special. It is a really long episode, which I didn't even realize how long it was until I actually sat down to edit this episode and really get into it and put it all together. This episode is going to be also really different from a lot of other episodes of SP Nation After Dark, and that is because of a few things. Number one, when I went to film this location, I had to film it in multiple pieces because it's kind of a tourist location. Yes, it's an abandoned place, but it's also a place you can visit and get more history from, and just really explore on your own. So I was constantly running into people and having to cut my video and having to cut this and that, just to, kind of also take it all in for myself and to also take pictures, because that's one thing I do at every place I visit. I always take pictures. I always take video. Sometimes I screw up and take video and pictures at the same time, so we get to stuff like this where I have to edit it all together. So you guys will see some random transitions and stuff going on. I apologize for the random transitions. It's just me trying to fit everything together a little bit better and a little bit more like clockwork. The other major thing with this video is that it's going to be done kind of documentary style. Because, like I mentioned before, being at this location, there were so many people there that I was picking up a bunch of different conversations, picking up, parents yelling at their kids asking what this is, and all sorts of back and forth. But we are at Brushy Mountain State Penitentiary. And this place was so cool, so beyond cool. And when I got here, I only meant to really be here an hour, maybe an hour and a half tops, because I had a couple other locations that I was wanting to film, which I didn't end up doing in the first place. But I ended up spending roughly around 2.5 hours here just to really take it all in, really explore everything and check it all out, because there is, there's a lot to see, but there's not a lot to see, if that makes a lot of sense. Like, it's not your typical touristy place. It's just more of an educational place. You get to see some of the dark stuff that happened. You get to see a lot of locations. But right now, where I'm standing in the video, I'm actually standing by the former minimum security building, which is outside of the main complex, which kind of blows my mind that your minimum security would be that far away from your main block. On the right-hand side of the building, to the right of the camera right now, it's actually where the security officers would have stayed and stuff like that. Unfortunately, with this location, you couldn't go inside the minimum security, and you couldn't go inside the guard housing quarters. But we're going in the main gate right now, and this place was built in 1896. This is where you would go in after you pay your ticket and stuff like that. Actually, right, where am I at? It sucks because I kind of forgot where I'm at. These are just I'm pretty sure these are the holding cells where, like, when you were getting booked, you'd come in and they'd park your ass right there and fill out your paperwork and stuff like that. I wasn't for sure what was in there. It was just kind of a cool, creepy room. And then this would be kind of the main hallway into the facility. A lot of really cool places. Not sure what the story was on that broken door. What was interesting about this facility is there is people who used to work there as security guards, because this place was in operation from 1896 to, I believe they said it closed down in 2009, which is insane that this place was in service that long. So there are still some former guards and some former inmates on the grounds that you can ask questions and stuff to. I did none of that, unfortunately. I just wanted to film stuff. I wanted it to be on my own. I wanted to, kind of do things, which I could have gone back, obviously, and asked questions and did all the fun stuff. But, you know me, doing my own thing. Right now, I'm looking directly at the gymnasium, and it was a really cool place. The little center area is where they played basketball. The main building itself is in kind of a cross formation, like the Jesus style cross, not like a X or whatever, but it's like in the cross style formation. Right in front of me is it's like with the laundry room. It's where they have a museum. It's where the hole is, all that fun stuff. So I was actually really kind of impressed about this facility because, yes, it's prison. Yes, it's a bad place. Yes, it's a really crappy stuff. Real quickly, on the ground, on the basketball, that's actually for Brushy Mountain State Penitentiary, which I thought that was really cool that they put that in the ground, when you're shooting your baskets. It was a nice little place, but that's what I was saying. This place was really beautiful, to be honest. Like, if I had to spend time in prison, I'd rather be at this prison than, some really cruddy prison, somewhere else. Right now, I'm in the laundry room where, stuff would happen. You'd wash your uniforms or, whatever. I'm not sure what they're called in jail, to be honest. I don't think they're called uniforms. Your outfits or whatever. But I think those were some of the old laundry machines. I was a little disappointed you couldn't go farther back to actually go inside the building, but I'm sure there was a reason for it. It was a pretty cool place, though, to be. But like I mentioned a little bit farther back, this place closed in 2009, so I'm not sure how much of these items are older or how much of them are newer. I would assume that they were, I would assume like the machines were a little bit newer, but you got kind of like you have these arrows on the ground that tells you where to go. Obviously, certain locations you couldn't go down to. Some you could. In this place, I didn't go to the theater, so I'm not sure what was in there. I think there's like an 18-minute video about the prison, which I guess I should have gone into since I was actually there to kind of do some education and stuff like that. But the stairs down here to the left, that's where you would go down to the hole. This place right here is, I assume where like you would come in and, I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. This is what they actually turn into their museum. And they got some really cool stuff in their museum cases. Unfortunately, me as a filmer, like as far as me filming, directing, or whatever, personally, I was a little bit, I wouldn't say bummed out, but I was just a little bit irritated filming in this area. Mainly because I was constantly battling with the mindset of, should I be filming? Well, actually, real quick before I get back to it, they have some artwork in this prison done by inmates, and some of it is just so good. Like that painting I just showed is remarkably well done. Later on in the cafeteria, I'm going to show, like, whoever was here, they actually had some really good talent. This is a ladder used by James Earl Ray to escape. And you can just tell it's just one of the pipes that probably hung above his cell or outside, somewhere. They got a nice little shank right here, It's just some simple scotch tape and a scissor piece, which that's one of those questions, like, why didn't you just leave it as a pair of scissors, I guess. But, I mean, I'm not going to question convicts. They got some plaques and stuff in these cases. Like, I'm gonna get more into the actual cases a little bit here. Um, this was just kind of me still debating on what I should and shouldn't film because, like I said, my mindset going in here was like, oh, this is kind of like a museum. I'm not sure if I should be filming this because it takes away from someone else maybe coming to see it, but I just kind of thought it was cool. And these I'm not sure if these were drawn up by inmates or if this was something they were reading. If they were done by an inmate, I mean, well done, to be honest. I didn't see any papers or like display card or anything for this stuff, but you got Puff the Magic Dragon, and I want to say the bottom one was Three Bears, but I'm not totally sure. I'm also not 100% sure what this building was originally. I think it was like maybe, I know like the upstairs part was like a chapel. And like I said, these are prison made items. Like the flip flop, someone used a nice little strangulation device. You had a clipboard that you could smuggle some drugs in. I think it's a clipboard. Legal workbook. Even though these guys were criminals and stuff like that, they were actually pretty genius with some of the stuff they did. Some of the stuff is a little nasty, like that, like a prison-made syringe. It's you gotta get what you can. I kind of dig the handmade gun. Like that was impressive. Like, these guys, they were in there for some bad stuff because this was a state penitentiary. This wasn't your local jail or whatever. These guys, they knew what they were doing, but they also had some, pretty ingenious things of doing it. Using the Bible for drugs is not something I would personally do, but I can kind of respect it from a criminal standpoint. The dominoes I thought was actually really cool because I always thought dominoes were solid pieces of wood or whatever. You have your typical stuff though, like that, where it's, it's a sheave in a book, a, needle in a book, whatever. But I'm not going to be talking the entire conversation just because I want you guys to enjoy it without having commentary. But I'll let you guys check out everything so far. We got a bunch of shanks here, which I was kind of surprised they had this many shanks, but I guess if you're going to be a prison inmate, you probably do need to have a little protection just in case you run into another inmate you're not exactly friends with or whatever. Maybe the dude owes you some money, maybe, just stuff like that. I thought these dice were actually really cool, like the way they were made. Like they look really professional dice. Once again, great artistry in them. Some really cool tattoo guns. I'm not sure if they were made in the prison or not. I thought that one tattoo tray kind of looked like a big ass domino. I think there's a couple more cases there, some artwork in that room that I didn't film. Just because I wanted to get into this room. This room actually irritated me a lot more than the other room because I was trying to film stuff here and, yes, it's a museum and everyone's trying to look at it. But, like, these cases, like, I was getting blocked by people trying to film. It was just like I ended up having to, like, circle around stuff like 10 times. Act like I'm not filming. just taking pictures, which I'm not sure if you were really allowed to film or not. So, yeah. And this is what I meant by the buildings in a cross shape. You have the long section and the short, cross section. I feel like I need to have some sort of background music in here while I'm not talking, so you guys aren't just watching a blank video. Put some elevator music in here or something. Um, this was actually kind of interesting. A lot of the inmates from I think it was like 1891. I guess there's like a lockout or something of coal miners that took place around Coal Creek. So I guess back when the prison was still pretty new, they were using a lot of convicts as unpaid, labor to mine and, you know, get coal out of the mountains and stuff like that. So it was pretty interesting. It would have sucked having to not only be in prison, but to mine coal and stuff like that, especially in that time period, because you know from current prison systems, I know you can get paid a little bit of money for doing work inside of a prison. So you can buy cigarettes, so you can buy, food, like special food and, stuff like that. So it would suck to not only be in probably one of the worst, strictest prisons, but also be doing extremely hard work for no money at all. Like I said, this was a really beautifully placed prison, but you were working hard at this place. Like, the intention of a lot of it was to just break the shit out of you, I think. We got a checkerboard found in a abandoned prison shack. As you can tell from my wonderful camera placement, there's like 5 or 10 people around this display case, so I was trying to do it all sorts of discreetly, discreet as possible, which I don't think it worked very well. You get some great shots of my Vans, checkerboard pattern, represent. And this was a Tennessee Corrections uniform. This probably was a little bit newer. I would say maybe 90s up until maybe they closed down the prison. It definitely wasn't an old school one or anything like that. Got some brass knucks. Used by the warden of all people too, which this warden must have been... You had to have been a pretty badass dude to hold some brass knucks. You got some officer badges, which I thought they were pretty cool. You got some older style ones, some new ones, obviously. I don't remember if these actually had dates. I think that's 1985. Was that one in the middle one? Or is either the year or the badge number? I'm not sure. Like I said, I don't know that much about like prison system stuff like that. I would think though, if you were imprisoned here in the mid 2000s, I would think this place would be really out of date with a lot of security measures, maybe, if that makes sense. Like, it just doesn't seem like a very up-to-date prison, and I totally understand why it closed. I can't believe it lasted over 100 years, though. Like, that's pretty long-term effects. I know some people talk about other prisons like being really outdated and they're only like 50, 60 years old or some stuff like that. And it's just a matter of security and the way prisoners are treated and stuff. Right now I'm downstairs where the hole was, which definitely not a place you would want to go to. It's not a place you would ever want to spend your day. And it was for when you were just acting like a complete ass. You would be down here, no sunshine, no getting out and playing with others. The hologram in this room really scared the shit out of me when I first got in there because I wasn't expecting it to kick on. Well, it's not really a hologram. It's like a flat screen with like some dude popping up on there. I didn't want to show too much of it because I wasn't for sure how it was going to show up on screen. And like I said, in this whole area, I'm trying to be discreet filming it, which I don't think worked. But this is what you would be in, essentially. I'm not sure where you'd use the bathroom in here. And like this is it. You probably had one other dude you were in here with. But that was it. That was your space. And that's tight. I'm not sure if that was the bathroom or if that was another cell, to be honest. Once again, this is one of those things I should have actually asked about instead of, just kind of guessing it. This room right here, I would assume it was probably, some sort of, guard post or whatever, probably where the guards chilled out, having to hear the maximum security dudes screaming and hollering. Right there's a guard tower post, and then you have the chapel, which you couldn't get into, which I actually really would like to see what the chapel was like inside, unless maybe I missed there was a way to get in there, but I don't think there was. You got the guard tower and like the barbed wire going across. And it was kind of interesting, and I'll show more about it here in a second, but the guard tower even went up like the corner of the wall up to the building. Like if you were on like the second story or whatever and you thought you were going to just jump over the fence or whatever, you would have got caught by barbed wire. And this door is probably where you were going out. Maybe like your sentence was up and, they're like, it's time for you to book out. This was probably either the door you got sent out or this was maybe the door you came in. Like I said, I'm not really for sure about the entire layout because that room where the museum is, it kind of feels like where you were coming in for the first time because of the signage. But once again, this was kind of like my screw up fault. I should have probably asked about that. But like I said, if you guys go out here and you can go out here, pay like a $13 fee to go get in and stuff like that, you can check it out for yourself. You can actually ask these questions. You can get all sorts of information on this place. Right now, I'm heading over to the gym, and that building, I think it was like a bathroom. And it's not even really on the map as anything more than just a bathroom. But if that's your bathroom, it's a big one. Nice, beautiful view of the wing of the prison laundry room. Heading up the stairs to the gym. Gonna play some dodgeball. Up in the corner, some baby birds. I tried to zoom in as much as possible, but there we go. I wasn't going to sit there and wait for my camera to get all focused up. And this is actually another really cool thing about this location. This is the first one that I used a brand new camera on. So I don't know what happened here. Oh, I still had the camera zoomed out from the birds, so when I got inside. Um, but yeah, this is the first brand new camera. You know, it's better than the old one, upgraded. It's not, it's still not like movie projection, quality, but I like it a lot better. You got your gymnasium. And I made the joke, which kind of got, blowed out by some dude yelling for his wife. School gyms and prison gyms all look exactly the same. And it's very true. Like, this could be your high school, your middle school, 1950s gym. This could also be your prison gym where, Timmy the Rat is getting stabbed in the corner. So it's a very cool place. Not much to see in here, though. It would have been nice if they had left, like, the goals or, maybe some original brushy mountain balls or whatever in there, which that sounded really weird for some reason. Back here is the yard, where you could go out, you could, walk around, talk to some other inmates, probably get into a fight here and there. And what a beautiful yard, I can't even read that on my computer screen. I hope you guys can actually read it a little bit better once this is, bigger on the screen and stuff like that. But right now I'm watching like a 4-inch video, so. You had the stage there because I guess they do like some concerts and stuff here during the summer. They have events here. That was the former max security unit. Unfortunately, you can't go in there. I did try and peek up at the windows, but I wasn't trying to get super close just because it's all, it's gated off more than anything else around here. I don't know if they're using it for storage or, what the case may be for that building. Maybe they use it for the paranormal tours at night, which I do really want to go to. And they figure a plan out for that. But yeah, this is the yard. This is beautiful out here. Nice sun. You got the mountains around you. That maximum security building looks just freaking creepy as all get out, to be honest. I'm not sure if this is also where they did, like, lethal injections or stuff like that. I'm not sure if they even did that type of thing at this prison. I would assume there would be some sort of death row here. Maybe because you had people here for life. I mean, this is a state penitentiary, so I'm not totally sure. And once again, this is something I totally could have asked about. Me and my brilliance, not really thinking about the great big picture. Lovely shot of the bathroom and the back shot of the gym. You're just surrounded by mountains on all ends of this place. Right now I'm walking to the back part of the main building. I thought this was kind of interesting. I don't know if I can get focused on it. This door, I don't know what it goes to, but apparently it led over to the maximum security wing at one point. There's like a little bridge or whatever, and then they have these few pylons that were there. I'm not sure what the reason was behind them taking it down or whatever. And I couldn't find any real, information on it. Some more lovely shots of the mountains. I don't know what the hell I am doing with the camera, though. See, because what's funny about the way I shoot a lot of stuff like that is when I'm at the location and I'm filming, I usually don't get, I'm not looking at everything that I take pictures of. I'm not looking at everything that I film until it comes to this part in the process where I'm sitting down in front of my computer and actually, reviewing everything. Which is why sometimes I don't know what I have on video or on, even pictures until I actually go back and review everything. Which, sometimes I think I've got some really good shots and I don't have good shots. Or like this point right here, even for instance, where my thumb's in the way and I've got this shaky shit going on here like I'm in an earthquake. So it can be a mixed bag. I'm better with my photos than I am the actual video sometimes. Which, that sucks to say, but I just realized I don't think I even went in that door where I just was. Right here, this building that I'm getting ready to go into was the D block, which was the maximum security prison before the new maximum security prison. And I came in this back door and I was like, I don't think I should be in here. I don't know about this place. Like, I'm ducking corners and everything like that. And, like, should I go in here? Should I not go in here? And then the stupid thing about it is I end up going in the front way and then realize I'm like, wait a minute, I was just in here. So, but this is a really pretty place. Architecture-wise, it's like a castle almost. You get this really grungy look on the right. It's just, there's something about this place that if you haven't seen it in real life, I would definitely check it out. I think up here on the left is like the main gate or whatever. Right here is D block though, which was your old maximum security. And I really thought I had the whole billboard in place here, obviously. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry for this super long thing. I think the reason originally why I did that really weird positioning is because one of the former guards or whatever was just sitting right there, and I was like, I don't know if I should be filming this. So, pretty nice place. Well, not nice place, but still really interesting to see all this stuff. Got a plaque of the state of Tennessee. Officer down! I'm kind of filming these little plaques and stuff like that so you guys can kind of get you can kind of see what all they read and stuff like that, because if you're kind of far away from Tennessee and you don't want to necessarily take the travel out here, you kind of get like the full experience of this place. Man, my camera holding is shaky as hell on this. There's this green room over here that I couldn't figure out a way in there for some reason. I did want to check it out, but I don't know if I didn't really look for it or if I just got caught looking for something else. Right here's a shower, which, it's a lot more private than the main showers you would have, and you'll see what I mean by that here in a minute. You have some Sorry about that. You have your basic cell, which isn't too bad for maximum security. You know, I tested the door to see if there was any flex in it, and there's just none. Like I said, there's that green room, which I don't know if there was a gate or something that I missed, but I couldn't find a way in there. It's really interesting. Like, this prison is supposed to be really haunted. And I don't know if it was just because it was daylight or whatever. I didn't really feel anything out of the ordinary in maximum security. Well, D block, I mean. Like, it could just be because, like I said, it's daylight. You know, there are other people around. You know, I actually, at this point where I filmed D block, it wasn't really a lot of people in here. I think this was the first time I was actually by myself filming, and it was like, thank you. So it was like getting my own little private tour of D block for once, which I was like, I was so relieved. I didn't really have to edit this audio out. I just felt like if I'm going to do it documentary style anyway, and you know, here I am back at the door where I was like, hey, I don't think I should be in here, but I can be. The fans, man. This place was so freaking muggy too, and I don't know if it was just the Tennessee summer. I don't know if it was, you know, thick ass doors. I don't know if it was just the humidity that day, you know, being up in the mountains. Or what. Just this place was so muggy. I would hate to be in prison out here during the summer. Like, it was so, oh damn, we got Dale Earnhardt. That was his cell, man. Not really. I think it was just a Dale Earnhardt fan who got sent to maximum security, unfortunately. You know, it was still kind of shocking to see a Dale. It wasn't shocking. It was just like, really? Dale Earnhardt? All right. All the cells are pretty much the exact same. I think there's 8 on each side. So you had 16 in total. I think the side I'm on is 9 through 16, I believe. So. And unlike the hole, you actually had a few windows, so you could tell when it was daytime and nighttime. This room, I have no clue what this room is for. I don't know if it was some guard room or some waiting to get transported out room, because all these cages and stuff like that, I don't personally know what they are. They look like holding cells almost. And you'll see what I mean in here. Like, they have these benches where I assume some prisoners would be handcuffed and sitting in here. I don't know if they'd be getting transported to see a judge, whether they're incoming inmates getting, you know, their uniforms for the first day. You know, I just don't know. And there wasn't really any type of plaque for this place either. And as you can see, like, it's big holding pens, it looks like. I don't know if there was furniture in there at one point, but it was really interesting, this room. I think I spent like way too much time in here for some reason. It was just me trying to figure everything out, I guess. And at the time when I was filming it, I was just kind of like, I was perplexed more and more going on about this room for some reason. I don't know if it was, maybe it was a storage room at one point for guard stuff, you know. I just couldn't tell. You got the floor cracks that you usually find on every abandoned place. I don't know if this was I also don't know if this was like how it was conditioned in 2009 when it closed down, but man, if this was the same shape, dude, it would have been rough being in here in the mid 2000s. You know, in our kind of time, it's a really outdated facility, I feel. But also, with it being super old, it may be actually better than some of the new prisons. I don't know. I definitely don't think your time here would have been that great, but I love the way the walls deteriorated right there. You get like all those really dark, deep colors, the rust on the doors. And now we are in the main cell block. And I love how they had these lights up here, and it gave it this really cool, like, old school 50s feel. Like, this is probably how, jail was back in the day. You had your gates above, because I guess they put those up there after. And this is what I meant earlier when I said the maximum security prisons are a lot more private, because this is like the honeymoon suite right there. You probably had 3 or 4 guys in there showering up. Maybe some guy took a liking to you, and you had a prison wife. There's your cells. You had 2 bunks, 2 persons per cell. You had a desk, you had a sink, you had, your toilet. You had a little mirror so you could look pretty, I guess. I'm pretty sure the fire extinguisher was not originally in there. And this is actually kind of interesting that the toilet and the sink were separate from each other, because I know in a lot of jail stuff that I've seen out there, they're usually that one single, stainless steel unit, so it was kind of interesting. That's the original prison structure from 18. Well, it speaks for itself. And there's the current one that you see outside. I don't know why I really like the lights in here. Like, I thought it just gave it such a unique vibe to it, and really felt very retro in a way. I don't really know who these guys are. They didn't really. Oh, I guess probably some of the more famous inmates here. Which, famous not being the best of words to describe prison inmates. And pretty much all these cells had the exact same setup. So when I went through here to film, I didn't film a whole lot of the cell block, because, you see the same thing in every single cell. Occasionally, I'd come across a cell where there'd be a few things left over, maybe some, little things that someone stuck on the wall. I think one of them had like a pinup girl in there, which, to be fair, if I was, in jail, I'd have some pinup girls on my cell too. Right now I'm in the cafeteria, and what's really weird, this spot that I'm in gave me the absolute creeps. I don't know why either. Like, this specific spot where you would get your food, I don't know if it was because I was by myself for the first time, really. I don't know if it was just because it was dark in this section or what, but this section of the jail had this really dark, bad vibe to it. I can't even describe it now. Like, it just felt wrong in that corner. Like, going into the room, it didn't feel that bad. But when I got to that corner specifically, I was like, I didn't want to be in this area too much longer. But the whole thing about this place is, this was the cafeteria, like I said. They'd march all the inmates in here at one time, so this place was really popping. But all this artwork done on the wall, it's done by one specific inmate who was here. His name was Tim Cross. he did some fantastic work on these walls. And it's a shame some of them have been chipped and peeled off. I don't know if it was done by inmates, but I'm not a huge art guy. I couldn't give two craps about Picasso and all that stuff like that. But the stuff that Tim Cross painted, like he did fantastic work. Like, look at the paint, look at the use of colors right here. I forgot what I was trying to say here. Like, it's just so well done. He tried to kind of liven up a really dark and depressing place. Like, those flowers look so good in the little planter. You'd have your guard room in there, and that glass is freaking thick. Like, it's a good 6 inches thick. Not sure why I decided to stick my middle finger in there. Maybe less than 6 inches. I don't know. Yeah, definitely less than 6 inches. I don't know why I thought that. Now we're on the other side of that thick glass. We're in the guard station. Which, this is a pretty crappy guard station, I guess. I mean, I guess it's fine because this is where you'd have your visitations and stuff like that. You'd have, your non-contacts. You'd have family come and see you. You'd have, you have your rules here. But this is where you get your family visitations. You would probably be sitting in that cell right there, seeing your family for the first time in I don't know how long. It's kind of a depressing thing to have to deal with that. I couldn't figure out what this sign was about. Like, I don't know if it was I don't know if it was a new thing or an older thing. I, I would assume it was probably older, but still, once again, I'm not entirely sure because it was like about scamming and stuff. I doubt there's a bunch of people currently getting scammed in there. I really wanted to press that button, but I didn't want like 5 people coming out. What do you want? Like I mentioned before, this place gives paranormal tours and stuff as well, and I would really like to come back here and do a paranormal tour. You have your grievances, which I'm sure the grievance email was really paid attention to. And if you'll see on your left, we have another honeymoon suite brought to you by Brushy Mountain State Penitentiary. Oh, I forgot to actually finish what I was saying earlier. The reason like there's cages going up is, I guess this guy got brought in here and was getting placed in a cell in the first time, and some of the other inmates didn't like him already or knew him or something, and when he was getting walked to his cell, they like threw him over the guardrail and he like died instantly. So they put these, I think they're called catch cages. Um, they put the catch cages up to prevent that from happening again, which it's understandable. You have another guard tower, and those guard towers, they don't seem like they're really high up, and they don't seem like they're very big. I wish I could have gone up into that's another bird nest. I think it's a bird nest. Yeah. You got a lot of barbed wire. And like I mentioned, it goes all the way up the building to the side. Some more cells. I guess I didn't realize that I filmed as much cells as I thought I did. There's some dates on the thing. I was actually surprised there wasn't 08 and 07. Like, those were actually people, those were actual inmates when they were there. I don't know if it was days like they were getting released or whatever, but that was still pretty interesting. And I didn't even know. I was actually kind of like, why are there 08 and 07 dates? Like, this is an old prison. Like, I thought this place closed down way before 2009. So when I originally recorded, I was like, what? What is this? What? I was pulling like one of the typical, shitty explorer things. I was like, what is this? What does this date signify? So, and another honeymoon suite on the left. Some wonderful floor shots. And we are finally down, and I believe this is the last row of cells on the left part of the cell block. So I think this is the very last time I'm actually like, oh my god, jail cells. But I'm on ground floor this time, so. Not really showing off too much just because they're all the same essentially. I'm sure that each one of them has their own personal story. But like I said, I didn't feel it was pertinent to film everything. And these bolts were, I made the comment these bolts were like probably original to the jail because they're square bolts, and like the hexagon bolts didn't come out until like 1913 or 1915 or something. We're free! Sort of. We're still in jail, but we're finally outside. Another wing of prison cells, which I guess I'm going to take the time to go in and film, baby. Going 4 up. Can you imagine just what it would sound like being in there? Like on a really busy day, like all the cells are filled up. You're a guard just walking the cell block. You're probably hearing a bunch of really awkward conversations. Probably, stuff like, "Hey man, I'm gonna freaking kill you when I get out of here," or I'm just paraphrasing. I'm sure not all prisoners sounded like that, but I mean, they very well could have. You got the wall over here, which doesn't seem that extremely high to me. It could be just because this is my first ever prison, so. But like I was saying, like the guard shacks don't seem like that high. Compared to like everything else. Like I'd say if you were an inmate and you had like a buddy, I'm pretty sure if you like stood on his shoulders or something, you could probably get onto the guard shack and get on out, which I wouldn't recommend that, but look at that freaking view. Like it's so beautiful, and it's so weird that you have this dark history to go with that beauty. But that's going to be it for this documentary style video. I'm actually going to be cutting back to the rest of the video with me finishing up and doing my outro. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this interesting look at Brushy Mountain State Penitentiary. And as always, yeah, hope you enjoy the video. And I'll see you guys on the next adventure. Bye. Alright, everybody. So I'm pretty much done here at Brushy State Penitentiary. It's such a cool place with a lot of history. It's supposedly really haunted as well. So I definitely want to come back here sometime after dark and do a ghost tour here. But there's so many cool places to check out here. There's a lot of cool stuff to see. The only thing that does suck sometimes is, like me, when you're filming something, then you have people in your way. But other than that, it's a great place to check out. Right now, that's death row. So I thought it'd be a cool way to end this video. Chilling out in front of death row. Hopefully, I'll never be there, so this will be the only time I get to see death row. But yeah, like I said, this place is awesome. It's got a lot of history, a lot of cool places to see. Definitely come and check it out. It's in Middle Tennessee somewhere. So make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me how you like the video. Tell me if you don't like the video. Tell me what you do like. But make sure you subscribe, because I definitely need it. But until next time, you guys have a great time, and I'll see you on the next adventure. Bye.